And hello, folks. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. Just tired today. I just came from the hospital talking to a person. I do preach on the side and I do give comfort. That's why I'm dressed up like this. I'm not allowed to go into a hospital with a t shirt. When I'm like this, I'm preaching or giving aid to somebody who's in the hospital. Okay? And I don't film it, it's their privacy. Uh, Lee and several brought up in their discussion because of the military experience and stuff. I respect that and I understand their viewpoint. It's a new game, same players, but a new game. Now, Lee is correct in his assumption. It's nearly impossible to invade America with divisions and stuff. I have to tell people you have to stop thinking Red Dawn scenario. Okay? They're not landing troops. They're already here. Why waste the money? Again, I tell people to read this book. All right? China is doing another system. Everybody thinks China's going to invade Taiwan. Well, that's bad for them. Okay? It's a lot easier if you do it simple, do the long plan. Now, Xing has a problem. It's like in America. He wants to invade Taiwan. Trouble is, People's Liberation Army and People's Liberation Navy are telling him he cannot do this because we let him have it. The other part is doing the long march. What is the long march? It replaces the Red Dawn scenario where you do vast military moves. One, nobody could do it except for America at its high point. Now we're at our low point, and I don't think we could do it too often. Two, this is a resource war. You have to outthink your enemy. And your weapons are brain, money, greed, and corruption. Okay? Okay? Win the war without fighting. It's simple. You either get them by economically, give them a lot of money and credit. What they're doing it all over the world, and a lot of people miss that. Second, place politicians that owes you favor, like in the Philippines. They have a China dove in their office. And remember, Sito depends on everybody playing up. Now, Shinzo Abe got assassinated. So if you watch Japanese polls, leading the polls are LDP. Okay? It's like a big chess game. I can't think of the word for Japanese for chess, but it's a complicated game and it's more complicated than Go. It's Shugi, but that's the word Shugi. All right? We don't need bombers. We don't need tanks. We don't need boots on the ground. All right? It's simple. If you're going to know where these installations are, just quietly go around and using the triads, the Russian mob, cartels, just buy property around the bases and smile. As long as they see you there and they know you, you know, it's like ask a person a question in Texas. How many Confucius schools is around Houston? And a lot of people are like, I don't know. You should check that out. There's one next to Fort Sam Houston and nobody realizes it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you understand what I'm talking about because nobody does. All right? Confucius School in Japan was all kicked out because they're a direct line to Beijing. So is WeChat. So that's how they conquered Canada. Use of WeChat and Confucius schools. So they're already in Canada. They haven't lifted a button. Their man in office, JD, is trying to promote their viewpoints. It is a slow, steady march. Okay? These guys are for the long haul. All right? They already got New Zealand. They got half of Australia. They got most of Canada. It's in Vancouver and BC, and they got Ottawa. Now the rest of Canada doesn't like this. Okay, reason why they went to Vancouver or British Columbia. What's the main between other than ships and planes to Alaska? How can you cripple Alaska? You cut off the Alaskan Highway and you cut off the Alaskan Railroad. And where does that go from? It's in Canada, folks. All right? It's a great strategic move. So you go into Canada. All right? Because a lot of people forget Uncle Alan has to study other moves. They're not doing it military. Okay? Winning without fighting. The Red Dawn scenario, all the time, in the long run, they lose. They lose manpower. They goof up. All right? They're playing the long game or the long march. Okay? Russia just got a hold of this, and Putin's like, yeah, we're doing it like China. So it's America with Captain Crazy. And then we have Putin, and we got Xing, and then we got the in the corner, the crazy guy in North Korea. All right? They're lining up everybody who's going to be in their favor. Now, the Philippines already bought and sold by China. They already have enough people there and key positions. All right? And a lot of people don't know this. China has already hooked them on money, on energy, because the Philippines doesn't have energy, and they're working their way quietly, carefully through the system. Okay? So instead of military force, they're doing economic force. All right? But Xing wants, everybody thinks he's like in the Communist Party over there. C.C.P. is mad as hell. There's two factions. They don't want Xing to screw up. So Xing's been very quiet and iron fisting what power hold he got. Also, like Putin, he escaped 5 assassination attempts. All right, folks? It is not a Red Dawn scenario. And I tell a lot of people, why are the surrounding bases in Texas and California? If you notice Houston, they have a lot of Korean, Chinese, and stuff. Also, a lot of cartels. And then you have the Russians. All right, it's like West Sacramento. A lot of Russians. Okay? Other places, nobody ever noticed them. It's like for years, Davis had the biggest KGB outpost out there. And still nobody realizes it. All right? Like I said, every state has somebody in the background. They are not doing the Red Dawn scenario or Invasion USA with Chuck Norris. No. They're doing this quietly, carefully, and they're going to do it either by economics, finances, or they're going to do it psychologically. Okay? They train your kids. They're in your high schools. They're in your elementary schools. In some churches. Okay? You don't know this. Everybody calls Uncle Alan paranoid. But if I didn't want to waste the money on a full-scale invasion, I could do it step by step. So if British Columbia had another disaster, and we show up there with our construction crews and stuff, and we have little trouble, we just call our security. Of course, that would be the army disguised as security people over there. Okay? This is a resource war. And if you watch every move that's been going on, it's serious. So we cannot use the assumptions of the 80s, 90s, and the teens expecting a frontal attack. No, they're coming on every side. Okay? There's more activity in Mexico and Canada than the United States. And the only person who caught on to this was Donald Trump. Okay? And a few other Republicans. Other people, other rhinos and dinos, were bought out. Okay? You just go down the list and see who's playing the game. Remember, it's a new game. We cannot use military force. Okay? It's like I'm watching from the sidelines. I'll just sit down and wait. It's a new game, same players, different tactics. Alright? But I do like to discuss people about this. Alright? Remember, folks, same players, different game. And remember, we're losing this game. There's other books that tells you what's been going on with China and Russia, a little bit more up to date. You cannot base your assumptions on stuff from the 80s and 90s and early 2000s because it's already outdated. All right, we're in this, let's see, second decade, if I get it right, second or third decade of the 21st century. So the games have been modified or changed. Nobody who is a weaker power is going to use military force. We learned that in the Dirty Wars. And that's why half of Africa is behind the times. They're still playing that Dirty Wars game. And the smaller countries all over the world. Nobody does that anymore. You have to outthink your opponent. Economically, psychologically, and infiltration. We are in a communist insurgency, not a civil war, insurgency. All right, a lot of leftists in every country is jockeying into position. Like I said, I like to hear other viewpoints and other comments. If you want, just write it down there. But like I said, folks, you have to remember, I'm not playing the game. I'm just sitting by and observing what's happening. And remember, they're not going to do a military force. It's too expensive. Nobody could do it except for the United States, and it's starting to show wear on the United States. So remember, we lose 4, win 1. So decide where's your battlefield. Okay, folks, you have a nice night. It's been nice chatting you. Like I said, if you have your viewpoint, write it down calmly, no curse words or anything. Write it in a nice comment and explain your observation and methods. Alright, they already got Canada. They're in Mexico. Actually half of what you call Central America. But like I said, you have to understand who's playing what. It's a new game, same players, new century. So, like I said, we have until 2026. Find out who's the winner. Bye now. I'll be seeing you. Like I said, I'm retiring. You have all the fun. Okay? Like I said, it's going to be mostly east of the Mississippi. West of the Mississippi, too valuable resource. Okay? Keep telling this, people. We are in a resource war. Okay? You do not want to destroy your resources for military glory. It's a waste of time and waste of effort. So you outthink them. Alright? It's like Yugi. You have to figure out 16 different moves to capture the knight or capture the baron. Different from chess. It's more complicated. And like I said, lest you use your main forces, the pawns, okay? You don't want a skirmish right ahead and then get rid of all your pawns and all your major components. That's bad playing. You want to think ahead with less movement and less forces so you can win. Okay? They already got the Philippines. They already got New Zealand. I don't know about Japan because they assassinated Shinzo Abe. And then Canada's a lost cause. It's like, I'm sorry, Canada has fallen. And I'll catch you later, folks. You have a nice evening. I'll be seeing you. And like I said, write a nice comment, discuss your viewpoint, okay, without cursing or whatever and stuff, and show your viewpoint of it. Because they are not doing the Red Dawn scenario. It costs too much. And you have a nice weekend. Bye, folks.